Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including Ian Furness, standing by, brought to you by the Waddling Dog Pub, one of Victoria's historic watering holes, welcomes you to come see why they are the talk of the peninsula. Their 50-seat patio is set to open May 1, and the return of no-cover UFC night slotted to return in June, all while showing all the NHL, NBA playoff action, NFL draft. Also, swing by their attached liquor store to pick up your Donnie and Dolly swag. There are countless reasons to come sit and stay at the Waddling Dog. They'll have the CFL there as well once the Canadian Football League season starts. All right, the Kraken can't call it an upset anymore.
No.
The Kraken beat the Avalanche 3-2 in overtime last night. What an atmosphere at Climate Pledge. Here to talk about that and the Seahawks, our friend from KJR Sports Radio in Seattle, Ian Furness. Ian, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Are we still friends? the three of us? It's been a while. How are we?
Can you answer this question for me? What's this thing that you call playoff hockey?
Yeah, I know it's been a while. Basically the last time the Canucks were there was the last time Seattle was in, 1917 with the Metropolitans. It's they play 82 games in the regular season, and then if you're good enough after those 82, you're allowed to play additional games. Donnie, it's a concept that is foreign to many, but here in Seattle, we're used to it. We enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Can you email me that information? I didn't get all of it. We'll talk about it later maybe. What was the atmosphere like in that building last night? Not just last night, but the first two home games for the Kraken.
It was remarkable, to be honest with you. Last year was so interesting in the sense that the team, with COVID restrictions, people had to wear a mask for a while. The team wasn't good. They weren't even entertaining. They didn't score. We talked about that last year. And part of it was injuries. Part of it was structure of the team. And they needed last night, guys. They really needed last night because I think we've talked about this a few times over the last 2 years, to all joking aside, to expand the audience, to get past just the hockey fan. A playoff series that had everything, drama, overtime, home overtime victory, an extended series to at least 6 games. And then, oh, by the way, now there's a villain in Cale Makar.
Yeah.
It was remarkable. The building was crazy. It was on fire. You can see them there. It's just the towels, the green towels being waved. It was everything that this franchise could hope for and more. Next step, obviously, is to try to win the series. It's a best of 3 now, but it was something special. Saturday was a lot of fun. Third period, the crowd kind of got taken out of it by the 2 quick goals by the Avs, but last night was absolutely sensational.
What was your take on Cale Makar's hit on Jared McCann? And as we speak, we don't know about a suspension. But what was your take on the hit?
Bad hit. Just a bad hit. It's, and I think it's on your show that I've heard Ray talk about this a little bit. I agree with him. There's the term in hockey about finishing the check. Well, you finish your check when the guy has the puck on his stick and you've initiated the contact, right? The puck had long left the stick of Jared McCann. And it was the end of his shift for McCann. He was killing a penalty. He was dog tired. He let up on it. And for Makar to make that hit it's such a garbage hit. It's just a garbage hit. The fact that he's going to have a hearing today, and the fact that Dave Haxtell, I think last night, I thought this was interesting, guys, that Dave Haxtell came out last night in a time and place where nobody says anything. The Ron Francis regime, they don't talk ever about injuries. And he came out last night and says, yeah, Canner's out for the next game in the foreseeable future. That was for a reason. Wow. He said that for a reason. He wanted to make sure the NHL knew because now here's a weird thing. Initially, no call. Neither referee had their arm up. Then they went to the major, which is kind of the bailout, and then. But my assumption is because they're having a hearing on a minor penalty, he gets at least 1 game. He will get a game, I assume. And maybe it's more than 1, maybe it's 2. But that was just a garbage hit. I talked to a scout in the stands last night I've known for years. And he said the same thing. He says, puck's not on the stick. And this guy, when he played, was a tough guy. He said, no, puck not on the stick. That's a penalty. It's a bad hit. Probably should have been a major, but he'll get 1 game. And it's a heavy price to pay. But boy, now we have Dikembe Mutombo, John Elway, Russell Wilson, and a new villain from Denver. And that, of course, would be Cale Makar. So, unless Conn Smythe and James Norris are on the player safety committee, he's going to get a game.
Okay, take 2. Once again, all of our guests today brought to you by the Waddling Dog. as Ian Furness from KJR Sports Radio in Seattle rejoins us. Not on Zoom, but on the phone. Did Cale Makar take you out, Ian? What happened there?
I think what happened is we had all of a sudden all the lights went out, and I think maybe the Mariners, the jealousy of the Mariners pulled the switch there in the 32 Bar and Grill. So too much attention for the local hockey team. But yeah, apologies there, guys. Sorry about that.
Are the Mariners still like that? Because I know when the Kraken first came around, they weren't on board. Are they still like that with the Kraken?
No, I think they're okay.
Okay.
There's a lot of kumbaya here with the local teams. Yeah. But, actually, you know what's funny? Jerry DiPoto is a Kraken season ticket holder.
Wow.
And not just, in name only. He's a jersey-wearing Kraken season ticket holder. Dude wears a jersey to the games, and I kid you not, we actually had a glass of wine a couple weeks ago with Dave Softy Mahler, myself, and Jerry DiPoto and our families before a game, and this dude wears a jersey. He's a GM in the Major League Baseball. He's a super fan of the Kraken, a legitimate fan. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we have had on our show at the Funny Station, and he is a real nice gentleman. Ian, back to the Kraken, Colorado. Our poll question today has to do with what the Kraken have and the Canucks don't, and two of the items are size on defense and speed up front. Not just speed up front, but speed everywhere. What would you say the keys are to the Kraken's ability to keep up with the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche?
Donnie, they are built on speed. I think that's legit. They, and they're a deep team. It's funny that you guys say that because, we've spent a lot of time here talking about how with the Kraken, they don't have the high-end talent, right? They don't have, they've got a number one line, I guess, but they don't have you have to match up with these guys, true number one line. I don't think the Beniers, Eberle, McCann line, scares the daylights out of people, but they're good enough. They basically have two number two lines. They've got a solid number three line, and their fourth line can score. I mean, Daniel Sprong's a 20-goal scorer, and he's on their fourth line. You saw him wire one last night. So they're deep. They're just not high-end, and they're speedy, and the defense is really solid. Guys like Larson and I'll tell you, guys, I love Alexiak. And there were times last year when I was like, man, this big guy doesn't really know what, I think he's kind of trying to find himself. People wanted him to be maybe something he's not. He's a tough guy. He plays hard. He's a pretty skilled guy for a big man. I like him a lot. He's a real nice player.
Ian, this NFL draft, the Seahawks have the 5th overall pick, the highest pick since they had the 4th overall pick in 2009. What's your gut saying? Who do they take?
Highest pick too, Rick, since under John Schneider and Pete Carroll.
Under them, yes.
And I've long ago, this is their 14th draft together. I've kind of stopped trying to predict what these guys are going to do because they're filled with surprises. There's been a couple of obvious picks position-wise they've made over the years. Russell Okung in their first draft in 2010 and Charles Cross last year, both were left tackles, massive positions of need. Their position of need right now, there's a couple, but the primary one is the interior of the defensive line. That means Jalen Carter jumps off the page if he's there at 5. If he's not, then one of the pass rushers, maybe a Will Anderson comes to mind. I think if they use number 5, guys, and that's a big if, but if they use number 5, I think they go defensive lineman with that number 5 pick. And then after that, it's a wild card is what they'll do. I mean, they need a receiver, a third receiver. They need interior offensive line. They need more pass rushers. They need a stack linebacker and a corner. And obviously people will talk about the quarterback, but I think at number 5, they take a defensive lineman if they don't move that pick. And even if they move that pick, they can move down a few spots and still get a solid defensive lineman.
We asked this question very quickly, Ian, if you don't mind. We're running out of time because of your technical difficulty there. But would it be an insult to Geno Smith if they would it be an insult to Geno Smith if they drafted a QB at number 5 or number 20?
At number, I don't think it would be an insult. It would just make no sense at 5 after re-signing him for a couple of years and signing the backup Drew Lock for $4 million.
All right. we'll let you go. Thanks, Ian. Double duty today.
See, that was quick. That
Doesn't
was
mean
quick. That was quick, guy. That
It does.
was quick.
It was quick.
Anytime you want me on. Anytime you want me on, call me. I'm not like the exit. You don't have to grovel. I'll come on anytime.
You sound desperate. Thanks, Ian. Appreciate it.
Oh, see you, boys.